Alright, welcome back, guys, to another edition of Review Plus. It's your boy, Cap D. Malone, your captain. Yeah, we're gonna dive right into it. This chapter was really exciting. It's a little early in the morning right now. I kind of have to be quiet, so shh, don't say nothing. Alright, first I'd like to give a shout out to this cover art right here. The thing that's important the most to me in this picture is Luffy in the Kin outfit. His hair, if you see it, looks kind of like Sabo, looks kind of like the Nika, the sun god image. This picture right here is kind of like something that it kind of is definitely inspired me to make a video that I kind of want to do. It's probably going to be the next Goma Goma no Reach. I'm going to be talking about how Luffy, Sabo, and Ace were the three candidates and where I think the idea and concept came from. We open up to one of the communicating people. They're not talking, but we see that somebody's communicating. So we open up on a rooftop and we see that there are two people communicating. As we scroll down, as you keep reading, you find out that CP0 is communicating with their higher-ups within CP0. We find out that the Marines are on their way, and depending on how they're asking for information about the fight and how's it going, the CP0 that are there in Onigashima in the guest room are letting the other side know that the peach dragon is in fact Momonosuke, that Vegapunk's fruit did indeed work, and that the dragon that is fighting with Kaido is fighting alongside Luffy. From there, we get another request coming from the opposite end of whoever the CP0 member at Onigashima is talking to is, and it's a request concerning the Straw Hat crew. And that's when we find out it's the homie Prince Curls himself, Rob Lucci. Yep, he's back. We've been speculating since we saw CP0 back when Onigashima started. We've been speculating and wondering if Rob Lucci will show up. Prince Curls is indeed here. I mean, even his bird got swag. Like, what happened to that boy? There we go to Momonosuke trying to figure out how to make flame clouds appear, and so he can do his part in holding up Onigashima, because Kaido's weak now. And you know, it's not that he's weak. I honestly feel like it's a combination of the battles that he's fought already fighting Luffy, as well as him having to focus in order to keep his flames there. I think he's losing. He has to focus all his attention on fighting Luffy now that Luffy knows how to do Conqueror's Flow. That being said, Momonosuke is trying to figure out how to get his flame clouds out. The dialogue here is pretty hilarious to me. Yeah, the dialogue is like he's sitting there and he's like, "Come forth, flame clouds, come forth," and he's just trying to push them out, and it's just like, puff, puff. And for me, you know, being older, I'm like, oh, you're 28 now. I don't know if your pops wasn't around to tell you, but sometimes it's gonna be hard to like perform. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but for me, it's just like a joke. Like oh, it's just like, hey, kids, as you get older, it's gonna be harder to perform when you need to perform. You know, you just gonna really want a flame cloud, but all you can manage is just a little puff. You know, like. Oh man. After that, we see my girl, the queen of cleavage herself. Sidecar side boob is what I call her. The cutest little demon I've ever seen in my life. She is so adorable. I love her so much. Yamato. And we actually get to see her full Zoan form this time, and it's actually pretty dope. I really want to see what it looks like in color, because it looks like she has clouds around her and stuff like that, and she's such an angel. Jesus. Next to Robin, she's definitely my favorite. Although we're not gonna go down that road. Now that I haven't made this creepy enough, we see Yamato figuring out that she has her own mission. Stated in the last chapter, Onigashima has become a giant bomb. With all that ammunition there, all the weapons on top of within the basement of the island, she figured out that she's the one who needs to go and rescue that. Which leads me back to a moment where I think with knowing that the Marines are coming, I think that the bombs are going to be used in escaping somehow. But we'll discuss more about that. Process of fighting. Queen does the most unthinkable thing I can ever think of. He literally shoots his torso out of his body, like he shoots himself out of his own ass, and he becomes a serpent. That is the whole point and pun of this chapter, is Brachiosaur hiss, as opposed to Brachiosaurus is Brachiosaur hiss. So he becomes a snake. He goes from a dinosaur to a snake. So imagine a prehistoric dinosaur or snake with the strength of a prehistoric dinosaur. That being said, I can imagine the squeeze on Sanji was pretty tight. And he always trying to get squeezed up on by a queen. Ain't that crazy? Fucking crazy. In the process of all that, Queen basically does this to try to get Sanji to break out the raid suit. He doesn't just want to see the effects of the raid suit as forms of technology, but the effects of the raid suit in conjunction with Sanji, because Queen sees Sanji as a form of technology. He calls him a cyborg instead of a mutant or mixed or mutt, or we're not going to go any further than that before it gets a little too crazy. Our boy Sanji, wrapped up tight in the bonds of love by Queen. He's getting his bones crushed and his eternal organs crushed. Queen lets him go, and Queen's like, I tried to tell you, all you had to do was put on the raid suit, you wouldn't be in this predicament to begin with. Chopper's freaking out. Chopper's like, man, you look like a zombie, what's going on with your body? And from there, we see that Sanji actually somehow pieces his body together of sorts. I can't wait to see the animation for it, because I know the sound effects and the bones moving back together, the squishing sounds of the internal organs readjusted themselves. Ladies, y'all know what that's like. Gotta rearrange some shit. I don't know. And we get our final page. Sanji is focused on his body, and he's remembering that his brothers also have an exoskeleton. And as he's thinking back on that, you can tell that he's really focused on it, because somebody who actually has observation hockey as well as armament hockey is not paying attention at all to what's going on behind him as Queen takes a swing with his giant sword, hitting Sanji in the head. But instead of cutting his head off, it breaks. And Sanji says, I don't want to be a monster too. This was a great chapter. What else can be said about everything that's been presented to you in this chapter, man? I mean,